All right, guys, welcome to our episode Thursdays. Welcome to our Thursday episode of Boundaries and Brotherhood. I'm your host, Gordon Watt, with my co host.
Dr. Keith Fairclough.
And today we got something rather special. Today we're going to do what they call reactionary video that Doc sent about the topic on how to handle women that's playing games. And before we do anything, Doc, give a little insight on what you're seeing while I get all this other stuff set up so we can get it all going.
Well, I mean, honestly, I came across a video and the guy was talking about, we'll show a clip of it here, but he was
Right.
talking about women who play games. And I've heard about that before. You guys have probably heard about it before. How do you handle that? How do you deal with that? Right? That's what we're going to be talking about. I don't want to give too much away. We'll go into more depth, but yeah, we'll get into it.
So you're going to see, we're going to start playing a clip that Doc sent, right? And
Well, I mean, if you are a man that struggles with confidence and self-worth, and if you struggle with that stuff, then you're gonna get sucked into this. You're gonna get sucked into the whole playing games. It's gonna go bad. You're gonna be missing out on great opportunities. Yeah, you're not gonna see it. You're one of those guys that, well, hopefully you don't become one of those guys that post a video, online about I was just so nice and and I don't understand why she. Hopefully you won't ever post a video like that. Please, please, please don't post a video
the
like
nice guy syndrome, the friend zone, and everything. We had a video about
that.
that the other day, but let me share that screen and let's get into it because we're gonna set our thing. And Doc, remind me to stop the share.
Gotcha.
You can see everything, you can hear everything, and I'll let Doc do the commentary right there.
Case. No, we don't. That is absolutely not the case. There are some women who like the idea of being chased and they have projected that desire onto others. I experienced this myself. This is bad advice, guys. There's really good advice in there, particularly when she says, when you take somebody who's interested in you out, surround yourself in environments and with people who value you so that that person will model the behavior that they see in others. That was really good advice. And I highly suggest that. The last woman who made it very clear that she was playing games and she was trying to play hard to get, I just sat down with her. I said, hey, listen, I'm interested, but I am not going to chase you. You are either interested or you're not.
Doc, you can tell me stop when you want to.
Pause
All
right there.
right,
I'm going to
perfect.
fight
Yeah.
alongside you.
All right. So he made a good point, right? And I think this is the part we need to try to understand, both men and women. So for one, no, we don't like women who play games. We don't like this game of cat and mouse and we have to chase you. And no, we don't like that. It's not fun. It's not cool. It's silly. It's stuff that's in romance novels and made up stories.
Right.
That's not to say, though, it's not to say that we shouldn't be interested in the other person. We shouldn't want to be with them. And so the natural way of things is that if I'm interested in you, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to desire to be with you. And vice versa, you're going to desire to be with me. So there doesn't have to be a chase, right? Yes, everyone wants to be desired. And I think that's the key element there, that I want to be desired. So maybe I have to, if I'm giving him this runaround, it's increasing my value. It's not. It's not doing that. You wanting to be desired isn't a bad thing. How you go about trying to do that is the wrong thing if you're a woman. Now, if you're a man and you see a woman playing games, you have to be confident enough to know and let her know that, listen, you don't have to do all that. Oh, you text back too fast, or you text back too slow. You don't got to play those games. You're like, listen, I like you, like kind of like the guy was saying, I like you. I want to be with you. I'm interested in you. I'm not doing all this extra stuff though, right? So if I text back fast, oh, well, that means he doesn't have to. That's foolishness. Please stop listening to these random people online who probably don't even are in relationships, right?
Mm,
I want
mm.
to say like 95% of
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
online giving relationships advice aren't even in relationships. Or they're in a messed up one. Please stop listening to that garbage, right? No, so do you want to be desired? Yes, that's fine.
True.
Absolutely.
Check.
We all want that. Men want that. Women want that. And guess what? Here's the natural order of things. The things we desire, we go after.
That's it.
It doesn't have to do anything. We just go after it because we want it, right?
Right.
So you don't have to play games if there's that desire, that interest is there.
But I'm not going to chase you. And she was so shocked. Her face fell. She said, really? And she was incredibly disappointed because she didn't get to play this game. Well, grown ass man. If you're trying to get with a grown ass man, don't.
Guys like having something to chase.
I think she might be taking some of these things out of
Out of
context.
context.
Do we like challenges? Yes. We like challenges. We like to be challenged and things of that nature. In our careers, working towards something, we're striving for something, but for things that are supposed to be that way, not women. I don't chase my whiskey. I don't chase my women. I mean, I don't drink. I'm just saying what they said there. If I'm playing a game, I want there to be a challenge in the game. If,
Correct.
if I'm playing a sport, I don't want to be just run over people. I want there to be a challenge. I want there to be a back and forth. My favorite like wrestling match was one was there was this back and forth, actually two of them was like that, right? But not in my relationship. I'm not looking for a challenge in my relationship. I'm not coming home and be like, ooh, I hope my wife is hard to talk to today. Like, oh man, I hope she's moody today. Like, no, nobody does that. Says no one ever. Nobody does that. So I don't know where women got this and the idea in their head, oh, I gotta be hard to get. Stop. Nobody
No.
is thinking that. There's not a man on this planet that's like, I can't wait to get home and have a hard time with my wife today. There's no man on the planet that does that. None. Nowhere. Not your father, your uncle, your brother, your cousin, your best friend,
They
like
want
nobody on the
peace.
planet, women. No man on the planet does that. If he does, there's something wrong with him. He may be a woman. I'm gonna be honest. If he says that, you may just be dating a woman. All right. Giving you a heads up. But nobody does that.
Dude, I mean,
All this.
I get the pursuing thing. I get the part of the game thing. I don't get. Like even when my niece was living here, I couldn't get from her side. Why do you play these games nowadays? There's a ranking system. Why can't I get your IG? Oh, if it's moving up from your IG message to your DMs, now if you get the real phone number, now you doing a different level. It's like they're going steady already. I'm like, what the hell is that crap? For me, it's all about just playing games to like protect themselves because they don't know how to talk to people anymore, maybe. But even at the same time, they don't know how to communicate and they don't have that confidence to understand what they might be going through and how is he going to do. I mean, the dating game has changed so much. It's like I feel sorry for men nowadays, but this is why we build up their confidence in this level. What do you think, Doc?
Well, I think, has the dating game changed? I think maybe aspects of it possibly, but the mechanisms that make it work are all the same.
True,
That's one of the reasons I love the Bible because the Bible is just true across the board. It
true.
just it stands the test of time. All the principles, the more I read all these self-help books and all the principles that work, right back in the Bible, thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. And so if you have the main principles that work and you do that, then it doesn't matter what people do on the outside. It doesn't matter how many games she wants to play on the outside. If you are confident in yourself and you're like this guy and he says, listen, I'm a grown man, I'm not playing games, right? If I text you, you don't text back. If I'm calling you, you're not calling back, I'm not going to keep pursuing you, didn't you? That's why we're here right now. That's why I reached out to you. So the mystery of whether I'm interested in you is gone, right? I'm interested in you. I want to try to learn and grow with you and things like that. But if you're going to be trying to play these little childlike games, then I'm out. I'm going to move on. And
That's what
you're,
happens.
but the thing is, if you're not confident in yourself as a man, if you don't know who yourself and sure of yourself as a man, and be able to say, you know what, if she goes, she goes. Not a big deal. Oh, well, what if I never get this opportunity again? And she's so beautiful. Listen, I was talking with a client yesterday. One of the things we were talking about was his concerns about settling down. And because what if there's someone else better out there? And I hit him with this. I said, there is someone else better out there. There is someone else better out there. There is a better woman out there. She looks better, smells better, cook, better everything, better at making love, better in everything. There is 100% a better woman out there. There's a better woman than my wife. There's a better woman than your wife. And anyone who's watching is a better woman than them, right? That it's not, we're not, this is not trading up, right? So just take that into fact. It's okay okay, this is who I'm choosing, right?
Right.
I'm choosing you, building with you. Because when I build with you, it doesn't matter what else is better out there. That's active knowledge. I also say this, there's better men out there than me. Gordon, there's better men out there than you.
Absolutely.
Solid in action. I'm like, dang, bro. I need to get like you. You're supposed to be on my side, right? You need to switch roles right now, man. I've seen it, right? So
Yeah.
we need to get that out of our head that if we lose, if oh man, if I lose her, I'm never gonna find somebody else. If she's playing those games right now, you have to be honest and confident in yourself to say, you know what? Hey, listen, it's okay. I can walk away. I'm not really feeling this. You got to get so confident to where that if you go out for the first time and it's going like really, really bad, you need to have the
Mm.
just be open and honest. Like, hey, listen, I'm not really feeling this. Don't seem like you're really feeling it. Go ahead and call it tonight. I hope everything's well with you. Take care. Waiter, check, please. And we move on. Like, we need to be able to stand up and do that. The
Yes.
crazy part is women like men who are confident. A
They
man that
like
can stand up and
confident
have
men.
principle, you
They're like
know?
men that's gonna lead. They're like men that's gonna lead them, gonna provide some sort of things, some stability. Once they start doing that, they lose respect for you, right? At the same time. So that's where let's continue with this video. Let me share, do the share because there we go. Share. Oh,
As you
yeah, let me play. So you can do your thing.
The idea of being chased and they have projected that desire onto others. I experienced this myself. This is bad advice, guys. There's really good advice in there, particularly when she says, when you take somebody who's interested in you out, surround yourself in environments and with people who value you so that that person will model the behavior that they see in others.
Period.
Okay. So when you take the person you want out around people who value you so they can model that behavior, I think the premise of that's good. I think the premise is good, but it only works if the person has the perception to look at the people around you, how they're treating you, and adopt that behavior. I don't know how many people have that mindset.
Right, that mentality.
Yeah, that mentality that
Yeah.
like, oh wow, look how he's treating my girlfriend or my wife. I want to treat her like that. That I don't see that. I really don't see that happening often. If you're mindful enough to be that perceptive of what's going on, then you don't need to be in that environment because you're already mindful enough of what's going on.
I
So
mean,
when she says, I'm feeling lonely, or I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling this, or I want that, like if you're already mindful enough to pick up on if you're that, then you don't need to go in those environments, and see that. Again, I'm not saying it's bad advice or bad things that he's saying. I'm just saying I don't know how functional that's going to be in reality. Because think about it, guys. How often have you guys been out somewhere and your wife was like, well, you see how John treated his wife or how, so and so did that? I've experienced that. Even with, well, no, I'll hold back on that story. It's not a stable situation anymore, so I can't really share that story.
okay,
Um,
okay.
but I will say this: I have experienced that where I have, like, oh, you see how so and so treats their wife or whatever.
Right.
I'm like, man,
And
like,
it's like they have a different dynamic. I have a different thing. I mean, I go through that even with me and my wife, with Andrea. She might say something, but you don't know what's going on in their household right now. I mean, even
yeah,
for myself, we're going through something. A lot of the times, it's like I take your advice, and then she was like, "But it's how you say it." But it's like it goes both ways. Also, I might feel disrespected because of where I've come from, what I've built myself up, and what I've let go. And I keep telling you, some of the stuff I don't want to let go in a sense because of how I survived. And one of the things I said was like, if I just did an inspirational video about the 5 type of women that you got to understand in your relationships, if she's doing certain things to you, you got to either put your foot down, have the confidence to say something, be able to communicate it well, and how you do it. Might be calmly. You mean I don't? It's like you said, Doc, before. I might raise my voice because I might be passionate, or that, but to me, I might not be raising my voice. To her, it might be, right?
mm-hmm,
So I just stay calm with it because I took your advice. It's the part of my growth.
mm,
But if she feels a certain way and the truth hits hard, then the messenger is not the thing. If I'm voicing it, right?
mm.
So let me see. I don't know if we have any more on this video. Let's go back to this and we'll see, and we can kind of like see how it goes from there.
The last woman who made it very clear that she was playing games and she was trying to play hard to get, I just sat down with her. I said, hey, listen, I'm interested, but I am not going to chase you.
Pause right there.
Yep, perfect.
That's exactly what I'm talking about right there.
Perfect. Exactly.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. We're not pussyfooting around the issue. We're not being passive aggressive.
Yep.
He just sat her down and said, "Hey, listen, this is what it is. This is who I am. This is what I want. This is what I'm not going to tolerate." And that's it. Now whatever you want to do with that information is on you, right? Because now the ball's in her court. Now she's like, oh shoot, where it should be, and this is for women, is you should feel a sense of comfort and relief. Like, dang, okay, I might just have a real one. I might just have a man who, who's standing up, because if he can stand up for himself like that and the stuff I'm doing, then shoot, then he can stand up for me. And
That
so that's the beauty of it. So for us as men, as part of being leaders, when we do that, when we move like that and talk like that and are confident like that, it gives our women a sense of relief. Like, dang, I can rely on him.
you're right.
And so it's so important, because the thing is, women are playing these games not because they want to play games, not because they wake up again. They're not doing that. They simply have, I want to be desired. That's it. So the sooner we can cut through all the garbage and the noise and let them say, hey, listen, I desire you. I want to get to know you better. Then guess what they don't have to do? Play games.
Yeah.
That's it. So by us being confident, we can actually shut that stuff down from the jump without having to worry about that, without having to worry about women playing games. And the ones that still, essentially want to be ratchet and play games and do whatever, your confidence now says, you have your boundaries, right?
Yeah. Boundaries.
I'm not doing this. I'm gone. And that's it. And you move
What do
on.
you what do you feel about the women now? That's a main thing because they can't seem to find good men. About the women asking guys out. That's a big thing now. If you've seen that, have you seen that on YouTube where they've taken on that? But as you can see, because there's a different age group gap, what's going on? Because no women, I watched so many of these videos about the movement. We talked about the movement last, the feminist movement, where it was placed, how it changed. But what do you feel about the women now are taking that lead role, that masculine role of asking guys out and they can't handle it when they get turned down?
So,
But
all right. So sort of women asking men out. Okay. It's not the ideal way things are supposed to be, right?
it's not ideal, but
Because
we live in
women,
this time.
I mean, women aren't designed to be leaders, right? They can be leaders, but that's not the way it really the breakdown is, right?
Correct.
Men are designed to be leaders, providers, protectors. Women are designed to be nurturers, amplifiers, and emotional protectors, right? Like and the two work perfectly hand in hand. This does not mean that women can't lead in certain situations. This does not mean that men can't, protect emotions and things like that. But we're talking about the natural way we are designed and built as XX and XY chromosomes, women and men, right? So it does feel kind of unnatural for that to happen. However, it doesn't mean the guy can't step into the role and really do what he needs to do, right? But I'll say this, it's going to be a disaster if things continue that way. So if it starts out that way, again, not my ideal thing, however, not the end of the world. But if it continues down that path where your woman is leading you in all things, right? And this is where now I might get on my soapbox, and Gordon, you might have to cut off the stream because I might start going in. But
But this
when it gets to the point where I see women on one knee giving a ring to a man, and he all has his hand in his face, like
oh,
I want to punch him so hard in
oh
the face. That is the most effeminate thing you could do as a man, is let a woman propose to you. What, is she gonna protect you? Someone breaks in the house? Bruh, like, is she gonna get your tampons for you? Like, I'm for real. Like, that is weak. And if anyone watching is like, well, that's my wife. Listen, I'm sorry. That's weak. That is weak. I swear on everything I love my daughter. I said, if my daughter did that to some guy, I would say, you better not marry him. You better not marry him. I will not be there. And I will not be there. And you may say, oh, Keith, you're being so harsh. You're dang right I'm being harsh. That's completely out of order. And how can you, as a man, like, guys like you, people need the women that are going to play games so they can use you, throw you out, and move on to somebody else. I know, again, it sounds harsh, but I'm just trying to say, like, that is not how we are designed to be. No woman should ever have to do that. You should be a man. You should be a leader, a provider, a protector. And you say, hey, I want you to be my wife. I want to invite you into my world. I want to protect you. I want to provide for you. I want you. That's the way it should be. So a woman
correct.
can actually feel protected, feel loved, feel like you're gonna be there, right? So you can be a leader for your children, example for your community. That's the way it's supposed to be. So to answer your question, Gordon, like, what do I think about? That's what I think about it. If it starts off that way, not the end of the world, right? But, just don't let it continue on that way, right? But if it goes that way, then listen, whatever you get is what you get, right? Don't come back to anyone and say, oh,
Don't
my
come back.
so masculine and all this. You allowed it, bro. Like, that's what you
You
signed up
allowed it.
for. You signed up for that. So you can't get mad if that's the way it is now. I pray to God, Gordon, that those videos and photos I saw were all photoshopped and AI generated.
You haven't seen, have
Great.
you?
You know, I'm
That's the
just
new thing.
that can't be
And
the new
it's, to
thing,
me,
Gordon.
that's why I asked your opinion on it, because I think it's not, well, it shows my age. It doesn't show, in my case, it kind of is different because, I was screwed up for a good quarter part of my life. I went to prison for a quarter of my life, got right, and then I'm seeing this stuff. So I kind of like losing all that gap of what I've seen. But at the same time, I'm also looking at how the society has changed as a whole. And it also makes it really, really hard to understand that part. That's why I asked you, and I know from your Christian base and everything else and how you would, but that's what's going on in the world. And that's why women, right? If you ever seen that clips from At Whatever and how Mr. Wilson just rags on all these OnlyFans girls and the feminist movement, and how it's like I get his side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the other day I was watching one where a guy was protecting this feminist movement. A guy was, and I was watching. I was like, "What in the world?" I mean, I understand the open-minded of it, the open-mindedness of it, because you live inside. But Andrew Wilson just couldn't understand that part, and I was laughing in my way. It's not bashing women because they're getting so desperate because they're saying they cannot find good men, but at the same time, good men are hard to find because women's expectations or what they think they can do from the feminist movement or the red pill, whatever you want to call it, has changed men to be afraid of this type of situation and not become men at all. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean,
I can just tell by
I
your
think
face.
I think the reason why women can't find good men is because men aren't walking in what God has created us to be, is to be men. We're not walking on our confidence. We're not being leaders. We're not being protected, our protectors. A lot of guys come from single parent homes with mothers,
Mm-hmm.
fathers not present. They don't know how to be men. They're being shut down. I don't care who the woman is. I do not care who the woman, unless she has some like serious mental health disorder where she's just out there, one of those like psychosis or something like that. I don't know a woman, period, across the board that doesn't want their man to be a strong, someone they can look up to be a
Right.
leader, to be a provider, to be a protector, to be someone they can rely on, to be someone that can be strong for them, to be someone that can be like, I don't know a woman who doesn't want that. I don't know. And I'm talking about women from all strata, extremely successful women. I don't know a woman who doesn't want their man to be confident, to be ambitious, to have goals and vision, and to be sure of himself. Like, I don't know a woman who doesn't want that. So the problem, the reason why women can't find good men is because men aren't being men.
That's the
If
problem.
men are men,
Big.
then it shuts all that stuff down. Then they have everyone to pick from. But that's the problem. It's not that they can't find guys, they can't find guys that are actually walking in their masculinity the way we're supposed to, fully actualized. They can't find that. Right? So that's the struggle. When you got guys that are out there like, well, I want to be in a situationship, like I like you, but I kind of don't like you, and it's kind of this. No, who wants that? Who wants that? Imagine taking that same mindset to a business partner. Well, I kind of want to be in, but I don't want to be in, and I kind of want to be out, and I'll be there tomorrow, but not today. That's foolishness. I don't want that. No, either you're all in or you're all out. Period.
Yeah.
And so
Bottom line.
until we can get back to that, women, you guys are gonna continue to struggle in the dating pool. And for the guys that are like, man, there's no good women out there. Well, don't focus on whether they're good women out there first and foremost,
Yeah.
bro. You got to be confident in yourself. You'll weed out all the garbage if you're confident in yourself. When you start taking care of yourself, being confident, focusing on, like, you start putting yourself in better situations, then guess what? You're gonna find the high quality women out there. Listen, there are high quality women out there. I work with plenty of them. So if you say, oh, well, all the women are trash, like, no, they're not. There are a lot of really good ones out there, right? And just like your point, Gordon, there are a lot of really, really good guys out there. But
I,
to
I
look at
was
the dating pool and the whole, so taking out the good guys, taking out the good women, and unfortunately, we can't find a way to just get them linked up in the same pool somewhere else. But the problem is, the women are playing games in the pool, and the
that's
guys
what you
are
say.
being men.
Playing games. Yep.
So we guys, as being leaders, we got to take the first step. That's the key thing. We
That's
got
how
to
it's
take the
supposed
first
to be.
step, right? Because once we take the first step and we get ourselves in order, guess what? Everything else is going to fall in line, right? Because those, like the guy said, once a woman doesn't know she doesn't have to play games, what's she going to do? She's going to fall in line. Oh, so I don't got to play games? At least it's to be a regular relationship. We can just
Yep.
talk and have regular.
Regular relationship.
Oh my gosh, how refreshing is that? I don't got to worry about playing games and, oh, we're in a relationship or we're not in a relationship, and I don't got to worry about that. Like, we're just together. Oh man,
Nice. They
refreshing
like
as
that. I mean, that'd be perfect. That's
oh
ideal in
my
what they're in the
gosh.
situation.
Like a man, it's just like removing all the red tape. Like it's just
That'd
like
be
the
great.
dating game. Remove all the red tape. Just keep it simple. I'm just trying to get to know you. I want to be with you. I want to see where this can go. But I
Let's see
want
if
to
we
be
can
able to,
build all
yeah, see,
that good stuff.
Bill. Yeah. So that's what I would say. As far as that's concerned, we got to stand up and just be men, be confident, be sure of ourselves. And as we move forward with that, guess what? The women we're being around, they're not going to want to play games either. They're going to realize, oh, I don't have to do that. I can actually be safe. So.
I mean that, but then this is where we're gonna look at. I want to show you something else, and then I'm gonna end with this since we had a pretty good showing with that. Okay, and this goes to show. I'm gonna share my screen with you, Doc. Right? Okay,
Mhm.
and let's go here. And I want you. What do you think about guys? If you're watching this at the end of our video right now, right, and you can see this, understanding true confidence and what it is and what it isn't, right? It goes to the preamble of what we did with the video. Doc talked about the confidence in men and stuff. Confidence is saying what you're going to do and you're going to do it. Bottom line, that's what confidence is. Confidence is often misunderstood in today's society, right? It's not about being the loudest voice in the room or never experiencing doubt. It's real confidence is about trusting yourself enough to face life challenges head on. And that's what brothers and boundaries are all about. And I want to show, like, Doc, this was the first page of one of our workshops, our workbooks, right? And could you please elaborate on some of this in our closing remarks? Because as you can tell, this is, if you can see the full screen, it has 20 chapters, 20 things we want to go over with you, and part of a challenge and part of a course that could be used to curb that style of dating pool or women that you're going through right now. Doc, can you read some of this? Or, I mean, some of this comes from our heads put together, right? And doesn't make sense.
So let's go over, I guess, the first part of what confidence is not, right?
Right.
'Cause I think it's important because we have in our mind this image of, oh, a guy who's confident. You've seen the videos. It's some guy, he's 6'3", he's, 230 pounds of muscle. He has some type of suit and some nice watch on. And then you see him walk in slow motion. And then you see him in the boardroom and just leading people and all that stuff and just sure himself. That looks great for a video. I'm not gonna lie, he probably gets a lot of likes and clicks and views and stuff like that. But that's not reality. That's not what confidence is. At least not regularly. That might be like in its extreme form, right?
Extreme.
That videos like that's confidence highlight reel. That's what that
The
is.
highlight reel,
Oh,
perfect. Yeah,
highlight
that's
reel.
it. Perfect.
That's what that is, right? There's moments where I've commanded a room. There's moments I've commanded a situation. There's
Correct.
moments where I was debonair and looking at all that. There's definitely moments in my own life where confidence was riding high, right? But in our everyday life, right? What does that look like, right? It's not never feeling fear or doubt. That's not what confidence is at all. Matter of fact, fear is not necessarily a bad thing. Fear is like, hey, something's coming we may not be able to handle. Are we ready for it, right?
Yep.
So that has to be there. Doubt, that's natural. Man, I don't know if this is going to work, right? Gives us an opportunity to actually think about. So that's not part of it. Dominating conversations are others. I know you hear about the alpha male, like, ooh, if you're be an alpha, take control. That's not confidence. That's not confidence. More often than not, to scream for help. Like, please pay attention to me because no one ever does. That's usually what that is.
Mm-hmm.
There's a book by Simon Sinek called, he's like a motivational speaker and trainer
I
and
got the book right behind me. Here's the last.
leaders eat last, right? So it's not about dominating the conversations. Matter of fact, you should be more time listening, being perfect performance at all times. That's not it. That's definitely not it. Everybody knows naturally you're gonna have a bad day, a bad game. You're gonna fall short.
Yep.
Like shoot, Gordon. Even some of our videos, sometimes we don't hit. Sometimes it's like
It happens.
it's
It's
like
life.
it was good, but
Yeah.
that's not it either, right? Pretending to have all the answers. God, you know you don't have all the answers, right? Yeah. So like
It's
that's not.
part of
And
it.
then people pleasing, that last
Oh,
one,
that's another thing. Yep.
that's definitely not
That's a
confidence.
huge one.
Yeah.
I mean, guys,
But what confidence is, and I'll sum up, because I'm not going to read all these. You guys
yeah,
have
no,
confidence,
no.
you can read all that. But what confidence is, guys, is it's a surety in yourself to do the thing you say you're going to do. Right. That's
Absolutely.
right. That doesn't mean there won't be fear, doesn't mean there won't be doubt, doesn't mean there won't be setbacks, it doesn't mean you'll be perfect all the time. It just means that I know that I'm set out to do something, I'm going to do it. Why? Because I've done it before.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as confidence is concerned, we can go into more details again, like how to be confident, how to identify situations in where we need confidence, right? How to build it up, how to break down those old beliefs that keep us from being confident. We can get into all of that when we do the workshops, but again, like Gordon said, just kind of stick with us. And when we have it out there, just sign up. But definitely get into the material though, right? This would be a good way to get you started and get the motivation going by going through some of these materials that we have that are all free, right?
Yep. Yep. All you gotta do is basically scan the code or click the link down below, depending on where you're seeing this video. Because a lot of the time, guys, some of these workshops we're gonna be doing is so that you can gain the confidence. We promise. The promise is working with us is gonna be able to give you the confidence to deal with a situation so you don't do something irrational. We want you to have certain things in your arsenal, your toolbox that we're gonna give you some tools that you can use on a daily basis. Learn how to prompt yourself into journaling so you can change and reframe your mindset so you don't go down this dark path. Because me and Doc have been there. We work with so many. His profession is to help people. My coaching with Boundaries and Brotherhood with Doc is to help you to get to things that you don't have. And the Boundaries and Brotherhood umbrella doesn't just do mindset training, therapy work, coaching work. It also teaches, when it gets deep into this, we're going to teach you how to make sales, how to use AI to do certain things. Boundaries and Brotherhood is just the beginning, guys, because you need things in your arsenal to deal with certain problems. And that's what we want to give you first. Now, if you feel like you need more help, please reach out to Doc. He answers emails. He answers the text at FCS, Freedom Change Success. He is online. You can book a session with him. This is the coaching session. I'm not a professional therapist. Doc is. But together we made Boundaries and Brotherhood as a coaching session so that you don't, because some people work at their own pace. But Boundaries and Brotherhood is also professionals that want to do something else more. Does that make sense, Doc? Because that's the big promise we're going to give, right? This is just a platform, guys. We want to work with you so you don't make those irrational decisions and stop getting ran over by women. That's why we keep the topics that we want so that you can build the confidence you need to succeed. All
Nothing
right,
that,
guys. I mean, you want to end it right here, Doc? Let it rip.
yeah, no, guys, as I always say, that the time to change is right now, right? Waiting, it's not gonna, you already know where you are.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
one thing that's not going to happen is things getting better just because time goes by. Right? People say like time heals all wounds. No, it doesn't. I don't know who made that lie up. That was probably like on ye old TikTok back in the day. Someone I put that on a T-shirt or in a book or something like that. I don't know who wrote that down, but someone please go back in time and tell them they're a liar and to erase it, because we all know time does not heal all wounds. That
That
literally
just makes you forget
job
the crap
is
that you're going
behind.
through. Because
Like my job is literally because time does not heal all wounds. If time heals all wounds, I wouldn't have a
you wouldn't
job.
have a job. You would have a
Literally.
profession.
So, waiting longer, right, is not that's not it's not gonna
Yeah,
work.
waiting longer
And
is not
I
going to work.
remember my wife told me this, and I'll end with this, right? My wife told me one time, I was talking about when I was talking about going back and get my doctorate degree. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, listen, 3 years is gonna pass regardless. The only difference between now and then is, if you do the class, you're gonna in 3 years, you're gonna have a doctorate degree, or in 3 years, nothing's gonna happen if you don't do anything. And that
Yep.
was one of the that my wife has said some really impactful and powerful things in my life. That one stuck with me because I was like, you're 100% correct. That time is gonna
Yep.
pass regardless, right?
Yep.
So you might as well do something with it. So if you're stuck, if you feel like, man, my dating life is, trash, I can't stand up for myself, I'm letting people run all over me, I'm struggling with the nice guy syndrome, or you're struggling with that stuff, waiting is not going to make that better. It's not. Reach out, get help, scan the code, click the link, book a consultation, get linked up with us so you don't have to stay the same. You can be a completely different man, a completely different man in a year's time. One who's powerful, one who's confident, one who can make change, one who can command a room. You're going to be a completely different man in a year's time if you come and you work with us and put the work in, put the earnest work in. You'll be a different man. And that I can guarantee.
And that's how we're going to end. Guys, see you next week, Thursday. Gordon Watt from Boundaries and Brotherhood. Aloha.
You guys take care. Dr. Keith Fairclough.